Hello. Today I'd like to teach you about sequences, how they work on the fretboard and how I use them in improvisation. Let me demo a bit of that and then I'll tell you how to actually turn this into useful practice. This is a demo on All Things You Are. Okay, so let me mention the most important concepts here. The idea of a sequence is essentially an intervallic structure that moves through a scale. So if we're beginning very simply, here's an intervallic structure of 4 notes. I'll start on C. It's a second, a fourth, and a sixth above C, and it forms something that I like to visualize as a D minor 7 chord in third inversion, because this is D minor 7. C, D, F, and A, right? So the first step in understanding sequences is basically understanding what chord you're playing and then moving it diatonically like this. So if I'm in C major, I have D minor, E minor, and so on, and the shape changes a little bit like this. And that's a very useful thing to do. Let me play it very slowly. And what I always remember is that my tonic note is the second note, this one, and I also see the visual features of the shape. So for example, if it's a C major shape, it looks like this, C7 shape, C minor 7 shape, and C half diminished shape, and then I simply work around my scale degrees. A lot of fun ways to play that. That's like the first step, is learning how that melodic shape moves in a scale or in several scales when you want to apply it to changes. So that's a basic diatonic sequence. It's very useful to learn how to do this stuff both horizontally and vertically. I can also move this way. Okay, this is a lot of fun to do. Sometimes I'll do this chromatically as well. For example, here's major 7s moving up by 2.5 steps. So all this means is that I have a shape with the intervals a second, a fourth, and a sixth, and it's really flexible. And now I want to show you how this actually applies to playing changes, because that's really the fun part. So if I have a song that has, for example, 2 chords, now I can apply this to any 2 notes. For example, if I'll start on this one, on the C major, I'll play G major, which is Lydian. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm simply changing the notes while I'm staying on the shape. I call this a static sequence, and let me play a really tiresome static sequence. What I'll be doing is I'll be playing these 4 notes, E, F, A, and C, and I'll be changing the accidentals so they fit all the things you are. Okay, it's going to sound repetitive, but it's a very good exercise about how your pattern simply adapts to the different scales. I'll do it not so musically, but I hope you'll get the idea. Okay, it sounds like this. So all I was doing is trying to make a minimal amount of change while the harmonic environment changes. So for example, I had a big change from D flat to G7. Okay, that's a very good skill to do because it teaches you how to be minimal in your activity. So how to like do the minimal thing you must when the chords change. And it's a very valuable tool for melody also. If I'll play like very simple melodies, I can really do that by changing very little in my structures in the following way. Okay, so it's a very valuable skill because it teaches not to move around more than we have to sometimes when you have melodic ideas. So the next step of this, remember, we have a diatonic shape that moves in different scales. We know that it can stay in the same place and just change notes as needed. C major, A flat major, E flat major, sorry. So the idea is you can change it in a single place. And now we need to combine these two skills in what I call a diatonic modulating sequence. The idea of this is that I'm moving with a melodic shape, but I'm also changing my shape according to the chord. Sorry. Okay, so that was me moving the shape on All Things You Are. Now let me do it with backing tracks so you get the context of it. Or I can do it vertically. I hope you get the idea. So let me summarize it in actual practical steps. Step 1, take for example the top 2 strings and learn this melodic shape in all 12 keys. So recognize it's the scale degrees of C major in third inversion, and then you practice it in C and then F. For example, A major would be. Step 2, take your chord changes, any progression you have with more than one key, and try to stay in the same spot and just change the accidentals. For example, C major. Okay, so I'm just moving through the cycle of fourths and I'm just changing the accidentals of my 4 notes, what I call the static sequence. And the final step is try to use the diatonic modulating sequence, which means you have a melodic idea and you're moving it, but as you move it, you actually change the accidentals along the way. Of course, it takes a long time to practice it. I've been playing for well over almost 40 years, and it's still a work in progress. So nothing magical overnight, but I do believe there's real power here if you follow through with this. So thanks for watching, guys, and enjoy. Bye-bye.